This is eNews at 7 live from Johannesburg. I'm Kathy Mushahlana. These are your headlines. The ANC has killed the lights. That's the DA's new billboard campaign, replacing the controversial Esidimeni billboard. The body of the 12-year-old boy has been found after being swept away by a swollen river near Verulam in KwaZulu-Natal. And Kaizer Chiefs sneak into the quarterfinals of the Nedbank Cup with 3 extra-time goals against Minnows Magic FC. Let's begin here. The body of the 12-year-old boy who was swept away by a swollen Umdloti River in Verulam, KwaZulu-Natal, has been found. The body was found by local lifeguards. On Saturday, police divers from the Durban Search and Rescue were redeployed to Verulam. The search, however, was called off due to the rapid flow of water. An inquest has been opened. Tuba Villani has the story.
Very sad moment here at Verulam as the family and community members are gathered behind me here, where just a few minutes ago they've just discovered the body of a 12-year-old boy who was swept away by a heavy river yesterday when him and his friends were trying to cross to a sport field in Verulam where they were playing soccer. Just earlier on, we spoke to police spokesperson who told us that they are suspending the search because the river was. They were hoping that when they come back tomorrow, it will have decreased. But the community members, together with lifeguards from eThekwini municipality, they continued searching for the body. At the same time, the family is saying that now they can finally get closure, but because they are able to see and to identify the body of their loved son that has just been discovered.
The missing boy had been an avid football player. The president of a local football association says he's saddened by the incident.
It's amazing, these kids, the passion that they have for the game. Week in, week out, they would walk from Waterloo and come to the ground just to play a football match. Will tell you that the passion that they have for the game and the love that they have, and we used to admire these kids. And yes, it's very hurting to see what happened, and we know God is in control.
Funding from National Treasury for the military's Operation Vaal River is proving more pressing than ever. Army engineers, construction personnel and troops have been in the Vaal since the 25th of November last year, trying to resolve the wastewater crisis. Our reporter Michael Apple has more.
Before the military stepped in to slowly start reviving the collapsed wastewater treatment system in the Vaal, the problems literally bubbled to the surface. Overflowing sewage, a common sight. But Operation Vaal River is yielding results. This is primary settling tank module 4 at the Citybeng wastewater treatment plant. It doesn't and hasn't worked for years. This is module 3. Looks almost brand new. It took the military 7 weeks to remove the scum on the top, empty and then finally desludge the tank. The army is just waiting for a new pipe. The operations commanding officer tells me they've had their work cut out for them.
I'm glad to announce that there are noticeable change comparing from when we arrived in November till date.
The operation is meant to last 12 months. But Mahapa says that's all dependent on whether Treasury allocates an amount of 873 million rand to the operation.
If we get the money as in yesterday, definitely within 12 months we'll be in a position to move out here and hand over to Mfuleni operational infrastructure.
NGO Save the Vaal says the intervention from the military has been incredible.
If you look around, you see this pump station here. We can hear it's working right now. If you go inside, you can see there's no sewer overflowing and stuff.
873 million rand is the projected cost for the moment. It's a figure likely to balloon to R1 billion. Michael Apple in the Vaal.
The Democratic Alliance says the ANC's approach to the Eskom crisis is short-sighted. It's unveiled yet another billboard bashing the governing party. The latest one highlights the electricity crisis. Yanka Tolme has that story for us.
The DA's billboard that caused outrage last month. It listed the victims of the Marikana massacre and the Life Esidimeni tragedy. Many, including family members, felt it was disrespectful. Now that billboard has been replaced. This time the party's playing it safe, with the ANC killing the lights. This comes in the week when South Africa faced rolling blackouts with stage 4 load shedding.
They are not able to manage Eskom. Their complete mismanagement and corruption of the institution has led to the situation now where South Africa is plunged into darkness, and this has tremendous effects on the South African economy.
The DA says the solution to Eskom's problems includes privatization in an effort to break the utilities monopoly.
The fact that the president's ruling it out just shows how short-sighted his approach is. We need to ensure that there's far more private sector players in the generation phase. What this will do is stimulate a whole new industry in South Africa, which will itself start to absorb unemployed South Africans. We cannot continue with the government monopoly. It is going to have to shed jobs.
The party also maintains its plans will lead to cheaper electricity bills. Yanka Tolme, Johannesburg.
Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan says there are a number of issues facing Eskom. The cash-strapped utility was forced to turn off the lights this week following a number of breakdowns at plants. Gordhan has outlined issues such as staffing expertise and the question of whether the utility is actually running the power plants effectively.
If we sum it up, where do we stand? Yes, we have a, let's call it structural, or as the President says, business model problem. In other words, currently Eskom is not generating enough money to pay for its costs, nor is it operating at maximum efficiency, a point I'll come back to. Secondly, you have an operational problem. And that means that our plants are, on the one hand, fairly old. So there's a number of the power stations, of the 18 coal-powered stations, that are beyond 35 years of age, inverted commas, some closer to 50 years of age. Medupi and Kusile were supposed to be replacements. Excuse me. And they've come with their own problems in terms of design, engineering, project execution, contracting as well, as we're learning. And we'll be now putting all the pieces together to understand the nature of the problem. But the key in any business is, are you, even within the constraints that we have, are you running your power plants effectively? Do you have operators that are fully in command of the disciplines that are actually required?
Authorities in Hong Kong have seized rhino horns worth around $1 million. The consignment was en route to Vietnam's Ho Chi Minh City from Johannesburg. It's said to be the largest ever find in the country's history. The horns weigh 40 kilograms. 2 alleged smugglers have been arrested. Custom officials said the illegal haul was transported through the terminal in 2 cardboard boxes. The incident comes just 2 weeks after Hong Kong seized a record 8 tons of pangolin scales and more than 1,000 elephant tusks. The country is a known transit point for the illegal wildlife trade. Coming up after the short break, delight for 24 Cape Townians who are today handed keys to their brand new homes. It's part of the city's Breaking New Ground housing project. Thanks for staying with the bulletin. 24 people have been handed keys to their brand new homes in Cape Town as part of the city's Breaking New Ground housing project. Atim Tongana has that story.
New property owners Nopelo and Sibongile Nongena are finally receiving keys to their new home. They're beneficiaries of the City of Cape Town's housing program. The Nongenas have waited for this day for over 10 years.
They've got to get Bali, so I always get a 99. Damn, and I'm the Palis. So okunye wansehla ndikhala nalela. But at least I get it today.
Ndisiva ndonwabile kakhulu sisi, kakhulu ndiyabulela.
It will probably take the other 309,369 people on the city's housing database as much time as it took the Nongenas to get their new homes. And before this, the last handover was in December last year.
We had minor glitches last year in terms of rolling out the project. And now we are sitting at 10% of the rollout of the project. So people must kindly be patient because, as I've indicated as well, that the project will go on up until September. So they're still coming, as long as they have those papers, because that's a confirmation that they are on the waiting list to get these houses and they're part of this project. So that paper guarantees them that they will get a unit.
Over the coming months, more qualifying beneficiaries will receive their new homes as part of the city's commitment to provide 2,400 breaking new ground houses in this area. Tim Tongana, Delft in the Western Cape.
Back home now, and this is a good news story too. A primary school in Johannesburg has launched an innovation hub. It's aimed at inspiring pupils to come up with ideas from a tender age. One of South Africa's first humanoid robots, a Pepper, was among the keynote speakers.
Pupils from Saxonwold Primary School could soon become innovation stars. Their needs will be met through coding and robotics, juxtaposed with the wonders and charm of books and literature. The new innovation hub is named after the school's principal.
I think it's very important especially for our primary school children today, is that the future is going to be a different future from what we've had before, and these children are going to have these skills. They're going to have to be creative. They're going to have to be entrepreneurial in order to make a difference as adults in the society.
Standard Bank partnered with the school to help make the hub a reality.
We're actually going to bring technology alive in the school this year. So we're going to automate all the process here at the school, and we're actually going to teach our kids some techniques and coding skills so that they actually can take them over into the future of their lives.
Pupils are excited and believe it's the start of a bright future.
I love that we get to create and use our imagination.
I love coding because you get to use your imagination, create new stuff, and use the new applications that we get every time.
I have trouble with my Wi-Fi.
Robot Pepper amused everyone with its ability to interact and answer questions on a personal level.
According to Zimbabwe State Television, rescue workers have retrieved 24 bodies and 8 survivors from 2 flooded gold mines near the town of Kadoma. Television footage showed some of the men in soaked, muddy clothes being helped to a makeshift clinic. Officials fear dozens more illegal miners are still trapped. Kadoma is situated around 145 kilometers southwest of the capital, Harare. Thousands of Yellow Vest protesters have gathered near Paris's iconic Arc de Triomphe. It's the first time they've assembled on a Sunday since the protest started 3 months ago. The demonstrators were also on the streets yesterday, blocking traffic in Paris's roadways. The movement sprung up on the 17th of November to counter proposed fuel taxes. It's since grown into a series of demonstrations calling for President Emmanuel Macron's resignation and more recently against the use of excessive force by riot police.
It strikes, some kind of fear, but voices need to be heard, and this is the way to deliver it. So, speak, get heard, is my view. Yeah.
After the break, we have your weather details, and then we bring you a story of true love that crosses cultural lines, geographical lines, and has stood the test of time.
Welcome to the Weather Center. We're going to start off Monday with drizzly conditions going on across eastern KwaZulu-Natal, including around Richards Bay. We will also be seeing partly cloudy skies for parts of northeastern South Africa and a few fog patches over the interior of the Eastern Cape as well as along parts of the West Coast. Then in the afternoon, it will be mostly sunny and warm to hot across the length and breadth of South Africa, and more so over much of the Northern Cape, where we have a high fire danger alert for the central and northern parts of the province. Then in the evening, it's going to become mostly cloudy for much of KwaZulu-Natal and southern Mpumalanga, and we will once again see quite a bit of fog along parts of the West Coast. Now we're going to see lots of sunshine on Monday for the Northern Cape, with hotter afternoon temperatures in most areas. Upington peaking at around 38 degrees. A mostly sunny and warm to hot Monday is forecast for the Western Cape. Cape Town hitting the 30-degree mark. It will be hotter as we go towards the interior of the province. We are going to see mostly clear skies as well for much of the Eastern Cape, with warm to hot temperatures. Port Elizabeth peaking at around 25, 26 for the high in East London. Partly cloudy skies are expected for the KZN coastal areas, and that just an interior bit of rain for the first half of the day for Richards Bay, warming to 27 degrees in the afternoon. It will also be mostly sunny for the park of Mpumalanga, with mild to warm temperatures. Just a bit of cloud around Bombela with a high of 27. Mostly clear skies are also forecast for much of Limpopo, where warm to hot afternoon temperatures are expected. We stay with mostly clear skies for the park of the northwest. It will be partly cloudy, however, for Zeerust and Rustenburg, with highs in the lower 30s. Clear skies are going to continue on Monday for the western and northern areas of the Free State, Forest Smith, Bloemfontein and Felcom, all peaking at around 31 degrees. Gauteng is going to see mostly clear skies, and a high of 29 is forecast around Pretoria. Now looking ahead to your Tuesday, we are going to see partly cloudy skies creeping into the eastern areas. It will be mostly sunny and hot for western South Africa. Light rain on Wednesday around George. It will be sunny and hotter for the eastern areas.
And finally, they say love conquers all, and it did just that for a Vietnamese man and his North Korean wife. Their love has survived over 50 years of snail mail and the Vietnam War. They first met over in North Korea, where relationships with foreigners are strictly forbidden. Let's take a look.
69-year-old Vietnamese man Pham Ngoc Than and his 70-year-old North Korean wife Ri Hong Hui met in North Korea back in 1967. Relationships with foreigners were forbidden, but Than plucked up the courage to approach Ri and ask for her address.
Tôi cũng không có gì thay đổi cả, nhưng mà tôi không đồng ý với cái việc mà chủ nghĩa xã hội lại không cho người ta yêu nhau.
The two exchanged several letters, and Than eventually visited her home, a 3-hour bus ride away. He would repeat this monthly trip until he returned to Vietnam in 1973. 5 years later, Than was able to meet Ri again, this time during a work-related trip. But she was becoming more despondent.
그래서 사실 처음에 김정은 동지가 트럼프 대통령하고 만난다 할 때 당장 모든 사람들이 무슨 통일되고 큰 일이 벌어지니까 이렇게 생각하고 막 그러는데.
A devastating famine in North Korea during the 1990s gave Than an idea. He raised 7 tons of rice in donations and then sent it to North Korea. And the gesture paid off. The North Korean government learnt of Than's generosity and agreed to let them marry. The pair finally wed in the Vietnamese embassy in Pyongyang in 2002.
Giving us all plenty of reason to keep believing in love. Let's take a final look at your top stories tonight. The ANC has killed the lights. That's the DA's new billboard campaign, replacing the controversial Esidimeni billboard. And the body of the 12-year-old boy has been found after being swept away by a swollen river near Verulam in KwaZulu-Natal. From me and the team, good night. Have yourselves a lovely week ahead.